Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, the 14th of May. I want to talk about, again, what we are and what we are in. And I heard this morning, about this matrix that we are in. And some would say it's a matrix that is created by technology. It absolutely is not that. Yeah, technology is only an image that will draw your attention away from the truth. Then the next thing I heard is that this matrix is created by thought. No, it's not that either. I really think the Hermetics had the best idea about what this is. It's created by consciousness. That is what is creating this matrix, and it is what is this world, and what is creating the forms. It's consciousness. And then you come to, again, the Hermetic thought, which is kind of reflected in the Bible, and that is that by it everything is created, and without it nothing is created. Yeah? And you could say like created as in the materialistic and in the not materialistic, in spirit, in the realm of spirit, where it has no form. Now, if you look at this world, in order to create matter, two need to come together. Yeah, so it has to be a union of at least two, if not more, in order to create matter. In this world, you see reflected the will of the living God. You see it in nature. You can see the will of the living God, and that is different levels of consciousness living together, giving and receiving of one another to create a functioning whole. We talk about ourselves. And we say we are consciousness, and we came to this world and we took on this meat suit. Yeah? So we are now in this world, consciousness trapped in this world. But if you think that everything is consciousness, everything that is created by consciousness, then we are not the only thing here that is wearing a suit. Everything that you see is wearing a suit. They're all levels of consciousness, and they put on different suits. Some of them mineral, some of them vegetative plant life, some of them have meat suits on a animal level, some of them have meat suits on the level of man. They're all consciousness, and that is what is creating this entire world. Different levels of consciousness in different suits, so to speak. Now, the one thing that is required, again, there need to be two in order to create a form. Two of what? And again, it's spiritual, it's desires. You need to have at least two desires to take form in this world, to become a part of this gathering of consciousnesses. And that is the desire to receive and the desire to give. You need to have both. Because in this world, everything gives to each other and receives of each other. Even the soil receives of everything that dies, And then the soil, over a period of time, will be compressed to become the rock. So even the rock receives. Everything does. And everything gives. The soil obviously gives, again, to grow the plants again, and so on and so forth. So everything that is manifest in this world has both those desires. How much they're conscious of that, or can understand that's a different question. As I said, it's different levels of consciousness, and according to what they are, it's the suits that they're wearing. But I mean, in order to give and receive, you need to have that desire to start with when you come here. Otherwise, you could not be here, because you're not according to the living God. And again, how much do you give and how much do you receive? There is a law here that says everything has to keep in balance so that all are sustained. And you go beyond that, and there's going to be retribution. Because that is the overall intention, and that is the level of God intention. That is the overall intention. All shall be saved, that all, well, I would go as far as all shall thrive, all shall exist, all have the right to be what they are. As long as they operate within the law of the matrix. So this is this world, and it is consciousness. Now there are other consciousnesses that do not have form in this world. Basically because they are not according to it. They have no life. They do not have those two desires to start with. There are probably other things, but those two desires I can clearly see in this world. Now the God of the Bible, the one that wants to rule over everything and have dominion over everything, does not have the desire to give. Only has a desire to receive. Everything should serve me. And then Jesus made himself into, I don't have the desire to receive. Again, that is a must. To be in this world, you have to have the desire to receive. Otherwise, you will not have life, which is what this world creates. As an image, then, life. So he made himself into the other extreme. Now, as I said, you have, even in the kingdom of the God of the Bible, the desire to receive and the desire to give exists in that kingdom, but not in the way that it exists in this world. In this world, it's an all. Everything has got both. The kingdom that is described in the Bible, God is the will to receive, and then the plebs have to be the desire to give, and nothing else. And if the plebs, God forbid, should wake up and have some thoughts about good and bad and what about me, self, any thought of self, well, you're out. Go and live somewhere else. And it's like you are fallen from this wonderful place into this terrible matrix. No, you've actually got to step up. This is the higher level of consciousness than what is described in the Bible. But here's the thing, and that is that we can become a gateway to letting these other ideas into this world. And that is really us serving other gods. No longer according to the living God, but serving other gods. And Jesus most certainly did that. And so how does this work? You are consciousness. But consciousness can change. It gathers knowledge. It gets new thoughts about what it should be. And we are the one thing here that is completely capable of changing ourselves into something else. No other part of nature has got that ability. But we can make ourselves into something completely different. And it is that which has not naturally has got form here. Yeah, it's not born into this world and lives in this world like everything else does. But we become the back door for that consciousness to come in. So God that is spirit, the God of the Bible that is spirit, the world that wants to have dominion over everything else, comes into this world by basically possessing a human form. And that is a human form that, through thought and through working on it and through coming into agreement, allowed that thing in. So I've heard, we are not dealing with flesh and blood, but with spiritual wickedness. And then, there's something out in another dimension. No, bloody hell, no. It's not that far out. It's very close to home. And yes, you are dealing with flesh and blood that has got spiritual wickedness. It was possessed by the wrong spirit, by the wrong thought, by the wrong desire. The only way it can come in here is by us becoming the embodiment, the image of that God. We are becoming that. And there are those here that have become. And that is how that kingdom of I want to rule over everything is manifesting in this world. But it is the destroyer, it is the adversary to the living God. Now, as I said, we have those that are becoming the image of that God. It completely fills them. It's becoming their life. They're obsessed. They're completely obsessed with finding ways of ruling over. And then, technology and anything can serve them these days. Medicine, whatever, anything that was meant for good, they can weaponize it. Fine. As long as it serves us, it's good. That is not according to this world. That is not even human. That is not what we were when we were born here. They become that by latching on to a different thought than what has created this world. Now Jesus went the exact opposite way. Yeah? He did not say, I'm not going to be one of the rulers. No. I'm making myself into that which has no will of its own. Yeah, I'm becoming the servant. Actually, you're becoming the slave because the servant has got some sort of its own. The servant has actually got free will. But Jesus had no longer free will. He done away with that. And that's actually a slave. So he is creating the slave part for that kingdom. That is his job. Yeah, and okay, filled with compassion, wonderful, lovely. Yeah? Filled with compassion, willing to serve, no thought of your own, no desire of your own. That's a perfect slave. That is the absolutely perfect slave. And that's what he made himself into. And again, he absolutely must have believed in this principle of, as above, so below. You become that in spirit, it will create a material reality. So after the resurrection, he had become that material reality of what he had spiritually made himself. But folks, that his material body only existed in this world for a short period of time, and then it was flung out. Yeah, no, he did not gloriously ascend, he was kicked out. He was no longer according to this world. So, people are shouting, yeah, there's going to be a new kind of man, we're going through an evolution, we are we become something else. Really think what it is you are becoming, and do not get trapped at looking at technology implants or stuff like that. Forget it. That's a conjurer's trick. So you're not looking at the spiritual reality. That is what is creating you. And it is these teachings that you take in as that is how it is and that is what I must become. And again, haven't done away with self. You have done away with self. Because you're no longer judging according to yourself. You're standing there and say, yeah, we've been involved and it's the will of God, and it may seem evil unto you, but hell, keep going. It will all, because all is sweetness and light, and it's all just the oneness. And wake up. Wake up and see what has been done to you. The only way, and Jesus did make a sacrifice, in a way, it was a self-experiment is what he did. He was testing a theory, will the spiritual create the physical, and apparently it did. Yeah, but the only way Jesus will come and save us is if you see what he done was wrong. You use judgment of good and bad and see what he done was wrong. Then it will save you. That's the only way. If not, you are going into slavery. And I don't know, maybe there is going to be a rapture. People are getting flung out of this matrix left, right, and center. Because they had done away with the two basic things that you need to exist here. The will to receive and the will to give. And some might be flung out because they no longer want to give, and the others because they've given up on, for myself I ask nothing. Either way, they're going to get kicked out. And the only ones left here, and that is the true Christ. That is the true Christ. That is the will to receive and the will to give. And keeping some sort of balance within yourself and with everything else around you. Be grown up about it. They will be the ones left. And no form is not going to be the higher state of existence. That is a lesser level of consciousness. In order to exist in matter, you need a higher level of consciousness than that. That is why they cannot come here unless they possess something that has already got form. Because their level of consciousness is not high enough to live in this world. So, really, for the blinking non-dual crowd, please go away. Yeah, it's not all sweetness and light. Creation is a very, very complicated thing. Yeah, and it's not all just one great oneness. And no, you are not here and everything is you. The dog is not you, your cactus is not you. They're different consciousnesses in a different suit. But here, we might be able to get to know each other. If we can see each other. And as I said, we're not just materialistic form. We stretch out beyond that, and so does everything else. Everything exerts an energy. It does not only exist in the material, but beyond that. So, yeah, that's what the shaman did, isn't it? How do you know a plant will heal you? Well, I asked the plant. So he's somehow connecting to the plant, to know the plant. So there's maybe something we can learn here on the spiritual path. To know other consciousnesses without having to fling ourselves out into another dimension in order to find them when they're all around you. God is not in heaven, He is here. And the God that is in heaven shouldn't be here. Because he is the beast, He's the destroyer. He's not according to this world. And I don't know if that system can build a world. I don't think it can. It cannot build a world of its own. So it must possess something else, but once it does, it will destroy what it possesses. So don't let it in. Start having some discernment. I mean, I'm really glad to say that on a materialistic level, we're probably not seeing the spiritual dimension to it, but people are starting to wake up, in this world where, as I said, they will weaponize just about anything. And yes, if being, full with compassion and without rational thought can serve it, it's fine. So we've been driven into compassion, with anything and everything. There needs to be equality, or you need to have compassion with these people, with the Ukrainians, not even asking right and wrong, just have compassion with them, and punish the others. Everything has to be equal. Have compassion with the transgender people, with anything and everything, yeah? And people have done that, and they were filled with compassion, and they give them everything that they could be given, and now we're starting to wake up and say, hello, maybe that's not all. Maybe there needs to be a little bit of balance here. Rational thought is starting to kick in again, and maybe what we're being shown as black and white, and you must have compassion with this and hate that. Maybe it's not as straightforward. And maybe there are other interests at work there in the background that don't deserve any compassion whatsoever. People are starting to wake up, and we're actually becoming according to this world again. Yeah? Where rational thought is actually saying, no, compassion is not all. We are made out of other spiritual forces as well that we might use in order to create balance again, and that is according to this world. So thankfully I can actually see the living God kind of winning at the moment, or at least starting to, the awareness of it is starting to rise again, even if it's not actually aware that is a spiritual principle that they're operating under, but unconsciously at least, the living God is coming up again. Anyway, here, I leave this all for your consideration, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.